Hello everyone, thank you so much for visiting my humble little channel. I'm Angela from artery.com, and what I'm going to do today is just make a few fun fold cards. I've been crafting and making cards for a couple of years now, but strangely enough I've never made fun fold cards. I did show on a video on the Crafter's Companion Ultimate Pro how to make them with that, but I didn't really do anything with it. I didn't decorate them or anything. So the first one we're going to be looking at is just a normal Z card. It's got a sentiment there, but you don't have to put it in. It's got somewhere there to write a message, but I like this because you can open it up, you can also stand it up like that, and I just think it looks really nice. So very, very, very easy to make. You don't even need to score it if you don't want to, but I'm going to for this. So what you need is some cardstock at 11 inches by 4 1/4. I'm going to score this at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. That should have been the other way around. Sorry, I'm just reading off my paper here. So 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So that basically cuts it into 3. So that's half, and then that's half of the half. So if you didn't want to score, some people don't have a scoring board, you could just take your 11 by 4 1/4 card, fold it in half, and then take one of the pieces and fold it back on itself in half. So that's easy enough to do, isn't it? You don't actually need to score it, and you're left with your basic Z fold, or Z fold if you're in America. So just give it a good burnish. So you can get it sort of down really, really tightly. So that is your basic fold. Now you can use obviously very thick cardstock for this. I'm using 250 GSM because I do know that I'm going to be putting layers on it, which will make it a little bit stronger. Now, as you can see on this one, I've got this die, and this Stampin' die set is from Stampin' Up. And the reason I put this on is because I made it for another project and it didn't get used. So you don't have to buy the products that I use here. Obviously, you're bound to have something in your own stash. For instance, you could have your own layering dies. You could have like a nice big flower arrangement that could go on the front if you wanted to. You don't have to, you certainly do not have to use what I've used here. So now we need to just decorate these two bits here. Looking again at my paper. For the right hand side, we need a piece of paper 4 by 2 7/8. So that will go on there like that. And then for the left, we need 4 by 2 1/2. And that will go on there like that. They don't have to be the same. You can use different types of paper, different colours, different patterns. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to stick those down now. Just make sure there's about the same border around all three sides. Just try and make it as even as you can. Now the beauty about this project is once you have your card cut, you can just use scraps to fill in the rest. That's all I've been doing. I just found all of these scraps in my little scrap folders. So now we've done that, that's about it for the card. I mean, you can put something on there if you want, or you can leave them both blank for people to write on. But what I'm going to do, using that Stampin' Up die set, which I think is really gorgeous, I'm going to stamp using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. Use anything you like, whatever stamps you like, whatever embellishments you like. This is just an example of something that you can do. So I'm going to stamp on here before I put it onto there, just in case I make a mistake, which if you've seen my channel before is quite likely. This is the stamp I'm going to be using, the same as the last one. Oh, that's lovely. I really do like this stamp set. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Say what you like about Stampin' Up. The products are amazing, some of them, if slightly overpriced in my opinion. Now I'm not sure if this butterfly is going to fully fit on there, but I don't think it really matters, to be honest. We'll just see what that looks like. Very nice. Yep, I like that. It's a bit more crowded than my first card, but it looks fine. I never use anything fancy to clean my stamps. Either water or alcohol, depending on the ink, and a microfiber cloth. That's all I've ever used. And that is gorgeous. That is absolutely beautiful. Right, I had a bit of a change of heart about this. I'll just show you what it looks like now. Because I used a smaller die, the big butterfly just didn't seem to sit right with me. So I tried a couple more options. I even attempted fussy cutting and it didn't work. Because I think if I'd been able to fussy cut the butterfly, it would have looked nice, sort of hanging off a little bit. But it didn't work out. But I think this looks okay. I've managed to put a little sentiment on and a couple of little pearl gems. And I think it looks okay. So what we have to do now is fit that on the front like that. Just try and get it as accurate as possible, just near in the middle. So we're going to put some, I don't know whether to use glue or what did I use on here? Yeah, I just used glue, so I think I'll just put glue, but you can, I suppose, use foam to have it standing up a little bit. That's up to you. But I'm just going to put glue on this side and just stick it down a little bit on there. And all the meantime, just keep making sure that it's all burnished into place. So there you go. Now what I did on this one, I put some paper on the back and it gives it a little bit, it makes it a little bit more sturdy, but you don't have to do that. I'm not going to do that on this one. I suppose if you had a business stamp, your business name, your website or anything like that, you could put it on the bottom there on the back. But that's just about it. That's how easy it is to make a little Z card, a Z fold card, and it's cute. But obviously you can decorate it however you like, just put what you want on. And like I said, I think a nice big flower arrangement will go there, but I just absolutely love this die set from Stampin' Up. It is gorgeous. But I'm sure other die sets, other nesting die sets would work just as well. So that's the first one. The second one is an easel card. A couple of mistakes on this one, but the beauty of this is that it can lie flat for you to post it, but you can also prop it up like an easel, like that. Now, the biggest mistake I made was that this was not propped up high enough. I did put two backgrounds on it to make it stand up, but I should have put it on with foam, I think. But that looks okay. So it's made in the exact same way. And this time I'll show you how to do it without the scoring. So just fold it in half. Give it a good burnish. And this time, instead of folding back, I'm going to fold in like that. So you saw before that there's absolutely no scoring needed if you don't want to. So the card will lie flat like that, but it will also sit up like that when you have something in the way to stop it from falling down. So this can be decorated in much the same way. I think I'm going to use this time because that's really nice. I'm going to have it that way or that way. That way. Now you could, if you want, use a different colour, like I have done with that one. You could stencil the whole thing before you fold it so you don't get that crease in there. I think that would look nice. But I think I will have the same this time. Hopefully that will go in there nicely. And again, you can decorate the back as well if you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you a quick way to make these fun fold cards. So I'm going to stick both of these on. So again, you can choose whether or not to decorate the back, or you could put again your business stamp on. If you're not going to decorate all of it, then I do suggest you use a stronger card than I'm using, like a 300 or even a 400 GSM would be great. So now we need something there to stop the card from sliding down. So I'm going to put a sentiment there like I did with the other. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to use the same one I used for the last card. I think I might have some of that brown card left. Yes, I do. I think I want the background to be brown. No, I don't. I want the background to be white and I want the sentiment to be brown. So, do I have any white scraps, she asks. I may have one or two. So, white background. Will that go that way? Let's not chance it. I think I can use my craft buddy for this. If I've got room, I'm going to cut two of these. This is where scraps come in really handy. They may be a nuisance at times, but you can save money so you're not using new bits of card every time you want to make a project. I'm going to stick those two together for a bit of stability. Okay, now I'm going to cut out. Yes. Bit of an intricate die, so I'll send it forward and then back again. Finished with this for now, so I'll throw it away. Well, that was a bit stressful. one of the little bits got tangled up on another little bit and it took me forever to get it undone. I was terrified in case I broke it. Right, I'm going to stick these two parts together like that. Actually, I should have put the sentiment on first, but never mind, I'll do that now. I know some people have their own ways of, different ways of sticking these intricate sentiments on, but do your research. If this is too fiddly for you, oops, I forgot to let go, that was handy. Yeah, just do your research because there are different ways to stick them down, ways that are not quite as fiddly as that, but I just prefer to do it that way. I'm not really sure why. And it doesn't seem as though there's too much squeezed out of the glue, so that looks okay. I'm pleased with that. Okay, so then it's just a matter of deciding where you want it. I think there's just fine. I do have a pack of foam squares, but they have vanished. So I'll just use this. I think this is Crafter's Companion foam tape. I'll just put a couple of these on. Yeah, that's definitely better because, as I showed you the last time, so that only has, I don't know if you can see, just the two shadow parts together, and it doesn't quite catch it the way it should. So that one is much better. As you can see, that's a lot thicker because of the foam, and it catches there nicely. So that's about it for the second card, the Easel Card. It's up to you how much decorating you want to do. There's so much you could do on here. You could put anything you like on there, and people still have plenty of room to write in there. You could stamp a sentiment on there and leave these bits blank for people to write a message. You could put more stuff on there and there just to make it a bit more interesting. But that's basically how you make your easel card anyway. Right, this is the third one. This is the gatefold card. Now, there were a couple of mistakes I made on here, but there's also something else I could have done. So I have used a ribbon. I've used a ribbon as a closure. But what you could do if you want to use a ribbon is stick it to the back and put a piece of card over it, and then it's stuck. And there's no chance of the ribbon coming off or it being lost. But this was made in a slightly different way. So as you can see, I'll show you the mistakes that I made. So I put the foam there too far over, and I've had to sort of force it back in a bit. It's catching. And when I was stenciling it, I should have put a piece of paper in the centre. I don't know if you can see. It's just gone through a tiny little bit. But never mind, I've got a sentiment in there, and I've put some decorations up there just to make it more interesting inside. But I think this is my favourite one. I just think this is really nice. Partly because of the stencil I've used, which was lovely. So I'm going to make this in the same way, but I'm going to use different colours. You don't have to have a sentiment on the front if you don't want, or you could have that down there. You could have the ribbon down there and a sentiment on the heart. But I think what would look absolutely gorgeous is if you made a belly band out of vellum. So you could make a belly band out of vellum and then put the heart on, and then the belly band would just slide on and off. I think that would look beautiful. Anyway, I'm just going to make the card the same way as I did this one. You will need, if you're not putting layers on, you will need thicker card, but I'm just going to use the same one I've been using. Okay, I changed my mind. I am going to use the 300 GSM. So this needs to be scored at 8.5 by 5.5. Sorry, it needs to be cut at 8.5 by 5.5. And now it needs to be scored at 2 1/8. So 2 1/8. And then turn it around, and again 2 1/8. So just take them over, fold them over like that, give them a good burnish, and there's your gatefold. Now, as you can see, it overlaps just a tiny bit. So what I'm going to do, because this side looks, for some reason, this side looks a bit wider, I'm going to trim off a tiny bit of that side. This seems to be a thing because I have seen other crafters have to do the exact same thing. Just trim off tiny bits just so it doesn't catch. So I'm just going to be careful and just take off a little bit at a time. Take a little bit off that side just to try and make it more even. Literally just a tiniest sliver. Now for some reason it's not quite straight there, so I am going to take off a tiny bit on the bottom as well. That's better, looks a lot more even now. Do not be afraid when you make a card to trim off overhanging bits here and there. It'll make it look a lot more professional, a lot less messy. I have to do it all the time, shockingly. So, let me have a look at my stencils. I think I will still use the brick one again because that was really nice. So, what I'm going to do, first of all, what I forgot to do the last time, put some scrap paper in the middle there, so the ink doesn't go through. And to make sure that it stays, I'm going to take some low-tack tape, fold it over, put it on the back, and just stick it on there like that, keeping that in the middle. and I'm going to stick this down with, whoops, with the blue painter's tape. Just going to try and make sure that it's centered. Of course, you can use anything you like. You can use paper to decorate each side, and the inside, it's up to you. I'm just doing this because it's what I did on the last card. Right. So I'm just trying to make sure that it is central so it looks even on both sides when it's been done. You can use any ink you like, but I'm just going to use my Distress Oxides. I'm just going to use 2 different shades of pink. I think that would be nice. It's Kitsch Flamingo and Tattered Rose. Okay, that should do it. Good time to see whether it's worked or not. I'm always a bit stressed when I remove stencils because you never know how they're going to turn out. Even if you've used them a million times, you still wonder. Right, so, oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. And you can see if I hadn't used that paper in the middle, that would have happened. So just remember that for the future. So I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to clean the stencil and then I'll be back. Right, I think that has turned out really, really nicely. That's a beautiful colour, that. So don't forget, just keep on burnishing those sides to make sure that it doesn't open too much when it's all set up. So as you can see on here, I have a sentiment and I have a die there, heart die. I shall try that again. I think this is a Stampin' die set I got from Temu. I think I'll use this one. I think this is really nice. So I'm going to stamp this probably on there. That's the one I used for the inside of the card. I think I'll use saltwater taffy. I was going to use yellow because I think yellow would look quite nice with the... Should I use yellow? I'll try the yellow first. This is Scattered Straw. It's a really nice colour. No, I don't like that. Not for this project. It's a nice colour, but not for this project, so I'm going to use a different one. I'll keep that for something else. It would help if I cleaned the stamp first, wouldn't it? Yes, I like that. That's a nice colour. Okay, let's see if we can find a matching die. Yep, that's it. Okay, well that's got a bit more of a border than I would have liked. It's not quite even, but as usual I shall just go with it. Now I want a larger die because I want that to go in there, so I'll do this on white card. It's not going to fit on this. No, I'll have to use my big shot for this. Okay, well you can probably see by this that my cutting plates need thoroughly cleaning. I'm going to have to remember to do that because I'm getting black bits all over my die cuts. Why isn't that coming out? Because I've used the 300 GSM card. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that again because the card is too thick. So I'm gonna do it with the same card, but I'm gonna send it through 3 or 4 times. So if this doesn't work, I'll either have to use a thinner card or use a shim. I'll put it through 4 times. No, it's still not cutting through properly. I suppose that's what you get for buying cheap dies. Actually, I'm going to try it again and use a shim, see if that makes any difference. If this doesn't work, I shall give it up as a bad job. You can see the impression in there, in the shim. There we go. So yeah, sometimes with these cheap dies, they're not quite as good or as sturdy as the branded ones, but sometimes all it takes is a little bit of thought. So using a shim there was definitely the right call. So after that palaver, I think that would look nice on there. I wonder if I should have a sentiment in the middle there, sort of stamped on. Do you know, I don't think I will. I'll only make a mess of it. Right, so I'm going to put that on there, and I think I'll put some foam on the back, but just on this part and a tiny bit down here. I'll use these are first hand, so that'll do for now. I can always adjust it later on if I decide to send this card to someone. There we go. Yes, that opens nicely this time. So now you can decide whether to leave it as it is. Just keep squashing it down. You can decide whether to have a ribbon or a belly band. Like I said, I think a vellum one would look really nice. You can put something in there if you want. You can put like a stamped sentiment. You can decorate the inside like I did with the other one. I'll just show you again. So, oops. Yeah, so in that one I stamped a sentiment and I put some hearts up the sides there, and I think that looks really nice. That's an option. So that's basically it. That's how you make your gatefold card. So I'll see if I've got some ribbon to match that. If not, I'll just leave it there. I found some twine. I don't think I've ever used twine for a card like this, so I'll have a look. I think silver would probably look better, but I don't think I have any. We'll just have a look and see what's what. I'm not sure if I like that, but it is an option, and you could sort of mess around with these, get them however you like it. But that's just a different way to go anyway. I think silver would look better. Decorations, do we need any decorations? Should I try some gold ones? And I suppose you could add as many or as few as you like. That looks okay, I think. Considering I didn't really want gold for it in the first place, I think it looks okay. Right, so that's those two, and now I've looked at it, I quite like that with the gold. I think it looks nice. I'd really like to know what you think. Do the colours go together? Would it look better with a sentiment on? I don't know. So I'll move this aside for 1 minute. So I'm just wondering your favourite, if you can recommend any fun fold cards. I'd like to know what your favourites are. Which one you like the best out of these, if any. You may not like any of them. I'm always interested in your comments, and because I'm basically a learner still, I'm interested in any advice, any recommendations, anything like that. So put those there and bring back the ones I made yesterday, which is that one and that one and that one. So that's a pack of 6 there if I decide to sell them or give them away. The longest thing for me was actually doing the decorations for the top, like the die cuts and things like that. That seems to always take a while. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. And I hope you were just entertained. Any one of those will do. But whatever the reason you've watched, of course, I always appreciate it. I'm very, very grateful to anyone who watches, subscribes, likes, comments. Honestly, it's absolutely amazing to me. So thank you so much for watching and helping my channel grow. I really do thank you so much for that. Have a great day. Bye bye now.